If you haven't seen the first video, I'll put a link to that above. This is part 2, and in part 2 we're going to look at getting Maria logged into the application, get her to provide her missing information and then reveal the whole application to her. So Maria's records here, the information we're missing which we'd like her to provide is her address, her phone number and an image of herself. Now just moving across the record a bit further, we set her up with a manager which has an incomplete role. So I've just created a user role called manager incomplete, and where we want to get her to is having a manager role which is effectively a complete role. So this is the date and time that the credentials are sent to her. Her user role, or her user account hasn't been completed yet, so we're using this field to show and hide various things. So currently she hasn't completed her account, and when she does, we'll change this to yes, and we'll update the date and time that she completed her account. So completing her account is providing her address, phone number and photograph. So I'm going to move across into the pages section, and at the top of the stack we have a home page, and all of my pages are protected by a login. And when you arrive at this page, and anyone can get to this page, so if you click on this little padlock here, it tells you that this page allows all user roles to access this page. So this is the page that Maria will arrive at, and once she signs in she will go on to the home page. Now the home page is completely empty, but it has some rules, and I've done a separate video which I'll link above talking about home page redirects. Essentially, depending on your user role, we will redirect her to a certain page. And as you can see, her user role is down here. It says if her user role contains manager incomplete, redirect them to the clients page. So just going back to my pages, it's going to redirect her to this page here, which is the clients page. Now on the clients page, we have 3 components: a rich text field, a menu button which adds a new client, and a table which displays all the clients. We also have some rules on this page. There's 2 rules, and it's based on her user account and whether the account has been completed. Now currently her user account has not been completed, so she complies to this rule. So if it's no, which it would be, we hide the menu and the client table. If the opposite applies, so once she's updated her account, we'll update her user completed account to yes, and we will hide the welcome message. So when she first of all signs in, the page rules will work and it'll only show her the welcome message. It won't show her the ability to add a client or view the clients. But once she's updated her account, we'll change that, so when she logs back in, we'll hide this rich text field, show the menu button and show the table. So I'm just going to go back a couple of levels. It's worth looking at the logins for instance, the pets page. So if I look at the pets page, the only people who can get to this are developers and managers, not managers that have an incomplete profile. And I've put that on every page. So when Maria logs in, she won't see any pages. She'll only see the clients page and only see the welcome message. Going back to the clients page and clicking on the rich text field, we'll show you on the left hand side what the welcome message is. So we have an embedded welcome video, and we have a couple of links. So this link here is taking her to the same page as you would find if you clicked on your account settings next to your logged in name, and also I've linked to it from this icon. So moving down the tree, we're going to push Maria through to this page here called account settings. Now I've set this page so that it's a full page. It's not a modal pop-up, so it will display a full page. And on the page are the 2 standard components: a form for editing her account and a form for changing the password. So this form updates her account, and on here I've added the inputs to put her address, phone and image on. So we want her to add, which these are mandatory, the address, the phone and the image. When she saves the form, there's a rule, both submit and record. So I'm just going to look at the record rule first. So once this form is updated, it changes her user role to a manager. So she goes from being an incomplete to a fully fledged manager. It also updates the 2 fields in the table which are tracking whether she's completed her account. So we move to the completed account, changes to yes, and the date and time that happened to the current date and time stamp. Just going to go back a level and look at the submit rules. On the submit rule, I use the method of redirecting to another website and using this little piece of JavaScript which forces the page to refresh. I've used a similar method in another video which I'll link to up the top right hand corner. So when Maria submits this page, the whole page will refresh, and as part of that refresh it will update the view and all of the pages will now be visible based on the fact that she now has a manager user role. Unfortunately, I could only seem to have one rule working, and I couldn't add another rule to then redirect her to another page. Now I'm sure there is a way of doing that in JavaScript, but as you probably be aware, I'm not a coder. So to get around that, I've added a menu at the top, and this menu is simply a link to the client list, but it will only become visible once the form is reloaded. The reason why is there is a rule on this page that says if the user account complete is set to no, then hide that menu. So once she's submitted the form, that will no longer be true. Her user account will be complete. The page will refresh. It will reload the whole app. All the pages will become visible, and equally this menu will also become visible. Now it should be fairly intuitive at this point that when she's looking at the app, she'll see all the pages, but if not, this orange button should make it a little more obvious what she needs to do next. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to walk through that process and sign in as if I was Maria and just kind of talk you through how these rules are working. So I've just pasted in the URL from the email, and as you can see that URL ends in home. So we're directing her to the home page. Put in my email address and password and sign in. So I'm now actually on the client's page, as you can see in the URL at the top. This is the client's page, but there is no green button to add a new client, and the client's table is hidden by a page rule, and it's just displaying the rich text field with the video and a link to the account settings. So when I hover over this icon, this will take me to the same place as if I clicked this link for account settings, and it's just taking me to the page next to the logged in user. So I can click on account settings and they all go to this page. So this is my account setting page. My name and email are filled in, so I just need to supply my address, phone number, and add an image. So my image is now uploaded. So now I'm going to click on update. The page will refresh. The record rules update my account. Page reloads, and because my account is now complete, the button here to say view client list is visible, and this will take me to the same as clicking on the clients tab at the top. So as you remember, when we logged in on the clients page, we were only showing the welcome message. The welcome message now has been hidden, and the green button's now visible and the table is now visible. And also because the way the app's set up, that the logins are only visible, you're only seeing pages if you're a manager, all of the additional pages are also now visible. If I jump back over into the builder and go to the accounts object, you can see Maria's records here with the address updated. This is just a random address, it's not her real address. Phone number, a Google photograph of a business lady, and then you can see the user role has changed to manager. The completed account has been updated by the record rule to yes, it's now complete, and the date and timestamp of when that was done. So jumping back over into Maria's view, as you can see, I'm in account settings, so she can come into this view at any time here, update any of her details and save them. Nothing further is going to change. The rules will still run the same. So once she's done this once, she can repeat it and there'll be no issues. So coming back over to the main application, so I'm now logged in as myself as an admin or developer. I'm on the accounts page. I can see Maria's record here. If I click on view, I can see her submitted photograph. I can see when the user account was completed. Now, if for any reason I needed to push that information back out again, I can simply press send, and it will once again pick up the initial password field, send the same email with the same credentials to her, so she can then sign back in again. But because she already has a manager role, she won't go through that kind of onboarding process. She'll just log straight in. Now Knack obviously has the ability to do self-service password resets, so just bringing back the view that I was logging into for Maria. If the user forgets their password, they can click on the forgot link, which is not always necessarily that obvious, but you can click forgot and Knack will send you an email and you can reset your password. But sometimes a user will just email you. So from an admin perspective, you can just press send on here and that will send her the credentials once again and she can just log straight back in. So a nice easy way, You don't have to worry about trying to find the password, find the URL, and then send a separate email. So this whole process, although quite complex, does automate that whole process, especially if you have a lot of accounts being added and you want to onboard lots of people. Anyway, if you're still with me, congratulations. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that was of use, and I'll catch you on the next one.